Very good afternoon to all the participants and today's resource person. My name is Bhargav HK, Program Lead by Bengaluru. I would like to welcome all the participants to Bytes Expert Series. And today's topic is Generative AI. Today we have with us an eminent resource person, Dr. Meenakshi HN, Senior Principal Consultant, Learning Data Science Unit ETA Infosys. Madam has proven experience in planning and managing the training to build competency in the employees in the production units, clients, and fresh heads of Infosys in machine learning, deep learning, computer vision, and natural language processing technologies. She has over 2 decades of varied experience in both IT industry and the academia. Her research area is pattern recognition and machine learning, and Madam has published a few research articles in national and international journals. Madam, I once again welcome Dr. Meenakshi HN Madam. She will be giving some insights on generative AI. Over to Dr. Meenakshi HN Madam.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, sir. I'll share my screen. Yeah.
Visible, Madam.
Yeah. Thanks for confirming, sir. Hello, good afternoon, all. Thanks for joining this session, for taking out your 1 hour time and spending or showing your interest in understanding a new type of artificial intelligence, which is now a tech buzzword called generative AI. So let us look into the insightful aspects of what makes a machine to generate a new data for the human so that it can be used in different business purpose. Welcome again to the session on generative AI. The agenda planned for this 1 hour goes like this. Since you will be wondering what is this artificial intelligence and how it is different from generative AI, I would like to take your 20 minutes of time in discussing about what is introduction or what is this artificial intelligence with various real life examples, which clearly tell us it's not an academic topic, but it is a real technology used in the business, where I'll also spend some time in discussing some business opportunities and little technical insights about artificial intelligence, particularly the history and how this AI has evolved. And today, where we stand in the field of artificial intelligence, followed by some technical aspects of AI. Next, we will spend more time in understanding the futuristic artificial intelligence technique called generative AI, where again we will briefly look at intuitively understanding the difference between analytical artificial intelligence and today's topic called generative artificial intelligence. Further, we will look into what are the applications possible on this generative AI, also some business opportunities based on this generative AI new technique. Just if anybody is curious here, from the students forum, trying to know why today industry, many giant companies, including Infosys, are looking at employing this generative artificial intelligence in trying to optimize their operational process specific to any IT, not just IT, even to different operational aspects using this generative AI. So particularly if students forum would like to know how this generative AI works, just I have 1 or 2 small technical discussion in case if you find any deeper understanding required, you can stop at any time, where I will be talking about a specific instance how generative AI learns and create new data. So anytime if you find certain detailed information required on this topic, please stop and share your questions. or if you have any deeper understanding on this new model, because now this is the type of the technology that is leading the business. You might be already aware of this generative AI and certain technical aspects. Please don't hesitate to share in this forum. So with that, last we will be talking about the challenges, because today any company are trying to adopt generative AI is the fact, but other side they're also worried, is it safe to apply generative AI? And there are a lot of healthier discussion and the debate and certain revolution happening in this domain, which we can discuss as part of challenges of generative AI. Lastly, I will also share one or two use cases where at Infosys, how we are looking at this generative AI. With that, we can just summarize on generative AI, and I'll keep a few minutes open for discussion where you can either pose the questions, or if you have any of your new thought on this generative AI, maybe we can discuss on that. This is because not just a kind of well-established technology, but it is a very recently evolved type of artificial intelligence, and most of the companies are investing money and investing or carrying out a lot of research work in this domain, so that business can make the highest utilization of it. So there is a very good scope for discussion than I talk about this technology. So let us spend enough time in discussion. So with this brief agenda, let us look at the point where everybody will think, whether it is a technical or a non-technical, whether he's a business person or a academician or a researcher, they'll think why this artificial intelligence is now so much focused by many varied type of industries. I think you might have noticed it's not just IT industries. Any class number one oil and gas industry to manufacturing, or even to healthcare, education, e-commerce, every industries are now trying to become AI first by using artificial intelligence in their business. Why? What do you think? What do you think are the reasons? How or why machine learning and artificial intelligence technology has created many business opportunity? If you can unmute and share your thoughts, fine. Or I'll wait for a second and then I'll proceed. Can you please share what are the reasons you think the artificial intelligence has created many business opportunities?
It prevents repetitive work from being dragged out, because if a human does it, it takes time, but if a machine does it, it happens in seconds.
Exactly. So all complex operations in the industries which were consuming more time, and also which were more and more repetitive, people thought AI or machine which is driven by AI can do it. Not just a small scale industry, mid-size or large scale companies are adopting this artificial intelligence, as you rightly said, because a lot of repetitive operations can be performed, which can provide better solution by saving time, money, and a lot of human resource required. About that, certain industries, especially like e-commerce, they look for customer retention, improvising their customer experiences. For them, artificial intelligence is like a boon, because a lot of customer preferences and market forecast is helping them. A lot of online retailers, they are using AI extensively. They give a personalized experiences. If I visit any online shopping, I get usually some products that interest me. It's not coming like a miracle, but it is very logical, because artificial intelligence technique used by those companies, online retailer like Amazon, they are all using AI extensively to give a personalized experience while we shop. And also a lot of transactions and unwanted transactions are very well made monitored because of AI technique, especially in finance. Looking at all this, it looks like we are not academically, or we are not making this as a statement, but these are all witnessed through real AI driven products. I mean to say, these statements are not a statement, but we have seen some products which are in real time exist as a AI driven robots or system that has helped the business in different domains. Example, you might have heard about IBM Watson. Very interesting story about this IBM AI technique is, there was a patient who was detected with a rare leukemia, but the cause was not very well diagnosed by the doctor, because even though she was seemed to be recovered, but suddenly the disease increased and doctors could not diagnose. When they adopted IBM Watson, where this was a machine, AI driven machine, which was learned by millions of oncology papers and filled with enough knowledge, it was able to cross-check the patient medical history against of millions of research paper written on the oncology. So within 10 minutes, it was just able to identify that rare leukemia. Here it's a point to think, if it was a human, was it possible for him in 10 minutes to know what are these background of the oncology of different articles and detect the rare leukemia? So similar kind of example exists in finance, where American Express, which is one of the popular finance industry, could save its lots of money because lots of fraudulent transactions were prohibited or were detected by the AI driven machine, because they had an artificial intelligent machine which could help them in stopping such fraudulent transaction. Another real life example comes from top chip manufacturing industries, be it Intel or any other top semiconductor manufacturing industries. They adopt artificial intelligence technique, the processing technique, which will take the chip in the form of an image, scanned image. They apply certain AI algorithms and they try to diagnose whether the manufactured chip used in the computers or in any electronic devices, is it defective or non-defective. You can think here, I think somebody already said, repetitive tasks can be replaced by AI machines. If Intel manufactures 19,000 chips per day, for example, or per month, you can imagine the human effort and the time required to test them. But being an AI machine will not tire. It will try to do it in few hours. The other example at this point I want to quote about the most used domain called entertainment domain, like our Netflix, where the most success comes for this entertainment unit or industry from adoption of artificial intelligence, where they do customer analysis. If you're thinking how AI helps in entertainment, it's not in creating the movies, but it is in trying to know whether the customer likes it. If not, how to give a better experience. They do a lot of market research on the customers. Accordingly, they try to estimate, or they try to analyze the customer retention. That is called as churn analysis in the business. So entertainment is one such domain where artificial intelligence is helping them to retain their existing customers than investing on the advertisements to attract the new customers. This is an actual business strategy any business would be following. Now, why did I quote these examples is not to just showcase somebody's success, but to tell that artificial intelligence, which started 7 decades back, is not now coming as a theory. It is applied in the business, and applied in the business not in terms of just researching now, but already available as a product, not just in the use cases I listed out. A top world-class oil and gas industries are now applying artificial intelligence for their complicated process, manufacturing industries, e-commerce, which I already mentioned, telecom industries, more sensitive, complex unit called healthcare, e-learning, which you are already aware, and the way we are now connected to, and also entertainment. Having said about these industries, it's a time to think, can industries win with AI? Looking at these examples, there are some real examples and there are some unquoted examples coming from different industries. Now, my question is, can industry win with AI? In the sense, is it going to help the industries by applying AI in different domains? Any thoughts about it from your side? Because all these listed industries itself is an indication how any domain, starting from healthcare, oil and gas, entertainment, manufacturing, are extensively trying to transform their operations, most of their operations, into artificial intelligence. Already Google has said it is an AI first company. At Infosys also, they are bringing up the artificial intelligence in various service lines. So this is a time to answer the question, can industry win with AI? So I think instead of taking it in one line answer, let us look at different business opportunities, history of AI, how and to what capacity AI can be applied. Due to the huge amount of data, the artificial intelligence has adopted extensively in the industries. If you're thinking, then till the data exists, AI is helpful. After that, can't we apply AI in the industry? This will be a normal question usually we get. But I think you agree to this point. Data volume has increased. This is up to 2021 statistics, but it is expected that it will be increasing further over a period of time in the coming days due to the extensive use of social media and other usage. More the data the company has, better the insights the business gets. Better the insights, the better decisions by the business or for the business. Hence, the data is expected to increase. That is transforming into better insights for the business to make the decisions. This boils down to a question how to handle such huge data, because the huge data is increasing. Then how do we handle? Is it artificial intelligence? Yes. This is the point people thought when we have plenty of data, huge volume of data just getting generated by various processes from different sources, why not to use that data to make the machine to learn the way the human learns and do prediction by getting the insights from that data. This is all about artificial intelligence. Anyway, we have data. Make the machine to learn from the data the way human learns and help to make the business decisions. So this AI did not start just like that. Definitely our topic of interest is generative AI, but artificial intelligence did not start a decade back, but it has a long history. It was a great statistician who thought in 1950, can machine be a part of human's life? Can machine be a part of human's life? So today we talk about Alexa, Siri, lot of chatbots you might be using, which is voice-based, or you may be chatting by typing the text. Today we enjoy those apps, chatbots, but it's not now. It was in 1950 when this great statistician called Alan Turing who thought, can we bring machines into our conversation? He built one small machine that was expected to respond to the human conversation. But that technique was finally called as artificial intelligence in 1956. Later, they developed very simple decision-making machines, which was mainly designed for game theory. That further evolved with complex reasoning algorithms. If anybody comes or knows about different algorithms for different purpose, similar to such algorithms, in 1980, complex logical reasoning algorithms were developed, not for any calculation purpose, but they were designed to mimic the way human expert thinks, the way human make decisions. One such example was used for natural language processing. It was in 1993 where a biologically inspired new architecture evolved in the field of artificial intelligence called neural networks. Like human nerve system, a new architecture evolved like the way human brain thinks, because always human is interested in knowing how human thinks. So based on that inspiration, they designed a new architecture for artificial intelligence that is called neural network. And this type of architecture and other advancements in neural network made giant companies to research and develop advanced architectures in artificial intelligence. Advanced models, which are so powerful today. In next 6 months, we are expecting one more such powerful tool, which may be more creative in generating the data. It will be very creative the way human brain creates the data. And that is coming from a set of architecture which is evolved from this neural network, that's called as deep learning. And today's trend is on this deep learning, which is the core domain of artificial intelligence or a subset of artificial intelligence. So in between, I might have not included a lot of other evolution happened. Those who are interested, please take some time and see how it evolved from 1950 till now. But today my intention is to show generative AI is not a surprise. Though it's a pleasant surprise for people and the industries, but it's not a sudden thing, because if you see from 1950, the way algorithms and methodologies are evolved, today we have one such powerful architecture that's making machine creative in generating the data, and that is generative AI. So that artificial intelligence, before we think about generative, please be informed about general classification of AI. Some of them are already developed and some of them are yet to be developed. This is a kind of classification I thought, let me share it with you. Not based on the kind of architecture, but the way the machines are designed to perform certain task. Example, there exists special type of intelligent computers or system. They don't really learn from the data. Instead, if you move one point, I think you might have played chess with the computers. That's a good example of reactive type of artificial intelligence. IBM's machine is an AI which plays the chess. Gary Kasparov, who won against of AI. So this is reactive because if the user moves one point, this machine will calculate, or this algorithm calculates what may be the possible movement that gives the best solution. The second type, what we have today in a lot of classification algorithm used in medical domain, or it may be stock price prediction systems, self-driven car, fall under limited memory. The third one is trying to mimic how human thinks, and that is a future focus. Machines which is self-aware. Example, I take decision voluntarily, and that is just human intelligence. But self-aware is machine being capable of everything with super intelligence. So this is still under research. So having understood these types of AI, the overall examples I quoted so far is indicating that today business are deriving its decisions based on data. Earlier, it was a human. Example, a company will have a business uh, people who have some kind of expertise in making decisions. But today, industry has moved for data-driven decisions. More than the human expert, they depend on data facts or data or the facts derived from the data. These facts are collected over a period of time and helps the business to do analysis. But the problem here is what types of analytics is possible through this AI. I think you might have heard about data analytics, business analytics, and today artificial intelligence is leading the business, big transformation through AI. But what are the types of analytics any business would do in AI? Putting it in a simple word, these are the four things usually any industry look for doing using AI. One, they try to apply AI techniques, some methodologies to understand and summarize what's happening in that business. Such type of analytics is called as descriptive. You just tell the people in the business, look, this is happening in the business. Example, Infosys stock price. From past 10 years stock, if you give it to the machine, it knows what's happening with the Infosys stock price and it will describe the trends in the stock price. 10 years back, it was 400. Now it has increased to 4,000. So these are the kind of description about the statistics. The other type of analytics possible through AI is diagnostic. Example, today or last month, Infosys share price has hiked by some percent. Why did it happen? That kind of analytics done through the data is called diagnostic. But if a person wants to know, can I invest on Infosys share price? Then we need an AI machine which can predict. Predict what? Predict, will there be a rise in the stock price or not? Will there be an increase in the gold price or not? So these are called as predictive analytics. Even weather forecasting is called as predictive analytics. The last highest level of analytics possible in the business is prescriptive. So based on predictive, example, share price of Infosys is expected to hike by some percent in next 1 year, or maybe expected to decrease. Looking at that prediction for next 1 year, what is the business action one should take is called prescriptive analytics. In all these four sites, AI is used. And if AI is used, there should be underlying aspects like making the machine to be an expert for that specific domain, or trying to process the speech because it's artificially intelligent, it should be able to process some of the data, or like a chatbot, process some of the text data, maybe feedback given by the user, or it may be related to image processing, or it may be related to making the machine to learn the world and make decisions, or it may be to design the robots. So these are all the broader aspects of artificial intelligence. Now comes a point, we're talking so much about artificial intelligence, and today the buzzword is chat GPT, which is a generative AI. But how all this evolved, or how this generative AI is different from analytical AI? Let me give you one a small story, the way human intelligence work. Just think, without our notice, without we caring for how our brain is trained. This is the way human intelligence work. Example, I see many animals, maybe in the movies, in the forest, images, or however. From the childhood, let's say I myself might have seen many animals. Similarly, you think you have seen many animals. Without we thinking much about it, We know our brain is having cognitive capabilities to learn from what we see. This is a human brain cognitive capability which help the human to understand the patterns that describe every object in the world or in the nature. This kind of cognitive capabilities help the human to recognize any new object he see it in the next time. This is all coming from neuroscience. And this backend work makes the human intelligent. This is natural intelligence. Inspired from this kind of natural intelligence, researchers thought in the artificial intelligence, they thought, why can't we mimic this behavior of human intelligence to create artificial intelligence? So what they did, they collected huge amount of data that's called as a past or historical data. In this example, I have quoted 6 images. Assume you have collected thousands of images, few images of lion, few images of squirrel, horse, etc. Call them as a historical data. This historical data is assumed fed as an input to the machine, where we adopt some kind of algorithm, we adopt some kind of mathematical oriented algorithms called artificial intelligence technique that will help or that makes the machine to learn from the data. Learn here is nothing but we are teaching the machines to understand the patterns that describe every object. If I give the images of animal, it learns how animal looks like. Please catch this point clearly, those who are new to AI, because this is the foundation for understanding why today ChatGPT is creating new poems, how Chat or how DALI in OpenAI is creating new animated images. Please look at this example again. You provide images of animals, use some machine learning or artificial intelligence algorithms. Algorithm is nothing but mathematical formulations which will help the machine to extract the patterns, and it learns from the data. When it learns from the data, next time when it see a new sample, this kind of new test sample, since machine has already learned, it should be able to predict. Predict what? If you give a horse image, it should say, yes, it's a horse image. If you give lion, it should say lion. If it does a mistake, it's not properly learned, or the researcher has not trained the machine properly. See, for my eyes or your eyes, I know this is a black horse and this is a white horse, because we are born intelligent or we have learned how horse look like. Similarly, an artificial intelligence created by the human should be expert in predicting the type of the object, in this case, an image. And this type of intelligence, which does discriminative tasks. Discriminative is it applies some analytics on the data to identify or recognize what that object is all about. That is called discriminative task. And the type of artificial intelligence used here is called as discriminative AI, or it's also called as analytical AI. Discriminative AI or analytical AI. It's not just only this kind of discriminative or recognition that human brain is trained on. You just think of us, or you think of your skill. You not only predict whether tomorrow it rains, or you don't not only identify the object in the world, but you are creative in your own way. I am creative in my own way. Every human is creative in his own way by generating new data. So what does this creative means? Human can see some poem inspired from some poets. He may write his own poem, or he has a talent to generate new song, because he might have listened to somebody's song and his brain helps him to create it. He can create a new image. Example, how I can create an image? I see lots of tree, flowers, the nature, and my brain has that intelligence to recreate it. Also, since I have learned the words, I have learned the English vocabulary, I have my intelligence would help me to create some new document, help me to write a story. Or if I read one complete textbook, I'm able to summarize the whole textbook into one paragraph. Example, today if my manager asked me, you attend meeting for an hour and summarize me just the in 5 minutes the meeting. My brain will work recollecting what I spoke for or what happened in the meeting for an hour, which I can summarize in 2-3 lines. These are all generative skills exist in the human brain, or these are all creative skills exist in the human brain. Such creative skills were the motivation for the new type of artificial intelligence technique called as generative AI. So these artificial intelligence new technique of generating the new data is totally inspired from the way human creates the new data. And this is a futuristic type of artificial intelligence that every business is looking for. Let's spend some time in understanding the basics. As I already said, generative AI is not a well matured technology by itself, though there are very advanced architectures available with us, but still, with respect to its applications or with respect to its safe usage, lots of debates still going on. So hence, I don't take much time in commenting about those things, but would like to share some very basic idea on how generative AI may become a lead or a mainstream technology in any companies or in any industry. Because what's going, you might have observed across the companies trying to use the generative AI in various aspects. So looking at that, let us spend some time. What are the essentials and how generative AI works? Before getting into that, my question is, if any company would like to use generative AI and become an AI first company, be it Infosys or any company, then what are the technologies available to us so that we can adopt this AI to generate new data? Yes, it's the artificial intelligence, broad umbrella, which makes the machine to work like human. It mimics the human behavior. This comprises of one major domain called as machine learning. I don't know how many of you have heard about machine learning. It is a technique of training the machine. May I know how many of you have heard or any experience about machine learning? You can unmute and talk. Yeah, please. You can unmute and talk.
So I have used machine learning for biomedical signal processing.
Oh, great. So you have trained the machines on the biomedical images, is it, Manu?
I have worked on biomedical signals, not images. So I worked
great.
on neuroscientific data, specifically EEG data.
Oh, great. So that's on a classification, is it?
Yes, we are doing emotion classification using EEG data.
Great. Anybody else in this forum? Yeah, there is another domain, subdomain called as deep learning, which is also a subset of AI, which is evolved, as I already mentioned in the history. Deep learning is a neural network inspired technique which take a huge amount of data, let's say medical data, and that huge amount of data is fed to the neural network, and it automatically learns how that data is represented. Accordingly, it will try to get insights from that. That insight should help us to do the intended task. Now, this is one advanced machine learning technique, which is a way to train the machines on the historical data. And this deep learning today has evolved tremendously so that every company is enjoying the advanced architectures to bring the state of the model called generative AI models. Various generative AI models are all because of this deep learning techniques. And these are the two main techniques that is supporting data science, which is one broader domain of scientific way of handling the data to process huge data and get insights from it. I have carefully placed this data science slightly outside this box because any data science problems in the industries can also be solved without AI technique. In fact, at our own company, some application unit were interested to do AI projects, but the amount of data was so minimum that we cannot train the machine on that. So then we suggested why to use AI. It can be done without artificial intelligence technique. So my thought here is to say, just having a data in the organization doesn't mean AI is the only solution. Without artificial intelligence, lots of problems can be solved and were solved. They were solved. So that's why data science has a set of problems, can be solved through artificial intelligence, or even just can be solved simply without AI techniques. And also there is a natural language processing. For example, if you look at a chatbots, they can be developed with AI technique like deep learning or even with a rule-based system. So these are all the cutting edge technologies available to any companies to make or to design a generative AI system. And this is the main difference between analytical AI and generative AI, where analytical AI, so far I already mentioned with that example of animal classification. It just focus on analyzing the existing data to learn the pattern and to do some kind of prediction, like stock price prediction of Infosys for next 1 year based on past 10 years data. Weather prediction of Mysore city for next 6 months based on past 3 months data. An HR of a company classifying the resumes based on every text data present in the resumes. Grouping the customers for a given company based on the product that they might have brought. Customer segmentation are some of the analytical AI example. Similar to that, you can just think of varieties of generative AI, and today every company, including we at Infosys, are also exploring how generative AI can be used in our company to make use this futuristic technique for more business. Then what is this generative AI? It's a simple artificial intelligence technique. Not simple the way architecture is. It's a very advanced, complex architecture, definitely. It just learns from the data. Here also it learns from the data. Generative AI also learns from the past data. But then prediction, it won't predict. It doesn't do automation. Instead, it tries to create novel new data based on what it has learned. If you give n number of lion images and train the machine learns about lion and it can create 101 or one new lion image. That's all about generative AI, and it's a very new type of AI. This is there from past 5-6 decades. Now, there are lots of applications. We are going to see a few more applications of generative AI. Yeah, one is text generation. May I know how many of you have came across ChatGPT and explored it for any of your purpose? Can you please mention and share the information?
I use ChatGPT to generate bibliography. So if I have referred to any paper and I want to convert it into big text format, I submit it to ChatGPT.
Okay,
and I
so,
get it in the right format.
oh, what was the input you provided?
So I used to provide the citation in the APA format, and it would generate the text, the web text format for me.
Oh, great. So one of the application is text generation. With the proper prompts, one should be able to generate the text of his interest. Like the way he said, given that link, it might have gone through that already, but based on what input you gave, it was able to generate. Suppose if you ask, create a new, text summary about neuroscience to indicating how brain works for a research scholar. Then the generative AI model will look at every word given by you and it should be able to generate. Because very specifically you mentioned neuroscience of so and so for a research scholar. So to that intention, if you mention, it will generate for you. If you say for a 10 standard student, then it will try to create it for a 10 reachable to 10 standard student. So here, what exactly we mention is making the generative AI to create new data for us. So new data means it's not only creating the text. If you pose some question, please, some of you, if you get a chance, you work on it. Ask who is the Prime Minister of India. It will give you the Prime Minister of who was the Prime Minister in 2021. Because today the chat GPT given by OpenAI is not trained up to 2023. It is trained up to 21 data. Past data up to 21. So if you ask who was the Prime Minister in 22, it will still give the wrong answer. So, but anyway, it is answering the questions that you give. Now the research is going on to make it very realistic, up to date. So ChatGPT 3, what we are using, what all of us are getting, is trained only up to 21, and hence anything you get is up to 21 data. Current affair data, it is not learned. That is one of the challenge, and people, AI researchers are working on it to make it realistic. Similarly, there are lots of summarization. You give a huge amount of data, or you give 100 lines, you ask it to summarize in 2 lines or 10 lines, it will give. Extraction of specific text from the data. You want to paraphrase it or rephrase. Example, I'll write it in my own words something. I want it in a proper grammatical error-free sentence. All that is possible. Searching is possible. And we at Infosys, our delivery units are looking at how effectively the code generation can be possible so that we service our clients. So here we may have employees at Infosys who may come from zero domain expertise on finance or e-commerce. So they don't know the domain expertise, but they have to solve that projects. Now at a scratch level, we may trying to use this chat GPT and write a code. And also, even if a person is an expert, our employee is an expert, the developer writes a very big code for the client, and for maintenance purpose, we have to create a documentation. Even for creating the documents for the projects, our company is also looking at chat GPT if it can help us in creating the documentation. So these are all the different possible ways we are also looking at Infosys on how to use this generative AI. And similarly, every company may be looking at it. Image generation. Image generation at Infosys also, we are not much using, but we are using it at e-learning purpose for document content creation. Similarly, research scholars can use it, or entertainment domain is also using image generation, classification, and very importantly, audio generation. I think this, we are finding it more interesting to use audio generation where artificial intelligence can create new chatbot for us as a virtual assistant for our clients or our employees or our team members. Now, with respect to these applications, this is the broader look at of some of the followed by applications like question and answer, as I mentioned, rephrasing it. Given a proper prompt, it will create some content for us. Example, I want to create a course on generative AI for our delivery units, for our project managers. I may use ChatGPT and I'll ask ChatGPT, please create me a table of contents and generate some block diagram for generative AI architecture. It should be able to create fiction, non-fiction contents and converse like a human, like a chatbot, like a human, summarization and sentiment analyzer. These are all some broader perspective of applications. Now let's look at if these are all the applications of generative AI, and today everywhere you see people are leaning towards learning this AI because it has created lots of career opportunity as well, then it's very curious to know how this AI works. Because if human have to write 10 lines of poem, please think of yourself. If you have to write 10 lines of poem, how your brain works, how creative your brain can be. If you have to write 6 lines of summary on, let's say, the same data science, for example, obviously the vocabulary to the sentence we compose, our brain should think and write. But how it's possible for a machine, a dead electronic device, to generate novel data for us, novel picture for us? If every company are investing so much, then generative AI cannot be just a hype. There should be some kind of technique that's making it work. This is how generative AI work in a simple intuition. I don't go behind the architecture because the architecture is varieties. Every company has adopted its own architecture, and our company, a delivery unit of automation, they have the transformed, customized models. And for every internal project purpose, they are also customizing the existing architecture and doing. But this is an overall intuitive diagram I want to present on how generative AI works. You have assume huge data called as corpus. Let me say Wikipedia. Hope you all know Wikipedia, and you know it's a huge collection of data. Lots of websites and huge amount of data exist, whether it is images, programming examples, articles, research articles, normal blogs, rich source of information. Such huge corpus is fed to the machine. Some artificial intelligence algorithm is used to train it, called as pre-trained model, exist. Now, this is the complex part for artificial intelligence developer or a data scientist. He will design with the help of an architect what is the best algorithm. Accordingly, they'll train the model, and machine is now ready, called as pre-trained model. This pre-trained model is have understood the pattern that describe everything based on the amount of data provided. If you have not included, let's say, dinosaurus picture in this data, or if you have not included anything about data science, then this pre-trained model never understand the features of dinosaurs. It never understand anything about data science. Then if you ask a question on ask it to create a dinosaurus, it may create lion because the data do not have dinosaurus sample. Please also think if you're asking what is data science, and you have not given any information about data science in this huge input, this model, though intelligence, it doesn't know anything about data science, and it will not be able to generate anything about data science. So please, I'm trying to emphasize here, there is no great logic here. The simple logic is huge amount of data, bulk data with very efficient advanced architectures that makes the machine to learn. And that machine, that model is called pre-trained model, so that the features being learned become a knowledge base for this artificial intelligence system called as generative models. Such a generative model, I can download, I can use it for my purpose. You can also do it. Any company are also now doing it because it's already trained, and the trained data is transferred. It's as simple as any college or university will train the student, and that student has trained for 4 years. Such a trained student, pre-trained student from the university, when he joined the companies, he transferred the learning he had in the college to the projects in the company. In the same way, a model which is learned from the data is now capable of solving any new task because the model is already ready for us. This is the philosophy that even one of the company called OpenAI, you might have heard about OpenAI, is a company which are extensively researching on generative AI, and OpenAI adopted these kind of principles, and they released one product called GPT-3. So this was the GPT-3 released in a few months back, which is the most powerful GPT-3. And I think Feb, we also received the version 4, GPT-4, and we may receive GPT-5, the next most powerful generative model. Then what is this generative model? How it's going to be so creative? I think even most of our data science enthusiasts, they struggle to know how this generative AI works. For me, it looks like a simple probability because nothing is coming as a complex mathematics here. Whatever we have studied in our school days, hope you will agree to me, those are the strong basic mathematics in our school days. Today is playing a lead role in these new techniques. Example, even our generative AI model is backed up by one strong mathematics called as joint probability. I think you might have heard about probability and statistics. In that, joint probability is one of the simplest but most effective probability model, which is making this generative AI workable or came to true. Let's see how this works. I'll put it in my simple thought, but what Google, OpenAI have released as a BARD or Lambda or GPT-3, 4, it's all complex thing. But to keep it simple on the backend philosophy of generative AI, here goes the flow. Assume I want to train the machine to generate a kind of chatbot which will recommend me what should be the next possible word. Example, you might have noticed in Wikipedia. Wikipedia is also AI based. And I think you might be aware, Microsoft also is telling the next, even the Bing. Bing is AI powered. Next, our Outlook we use in our business. Outlook is also going to be AI powered. But at Infosys, we haven't installed the recent Microsoft 365 Apple suite, but it is already said that Teams or Outlook are all used for business communication internally, going to be AI powered. And it's must for us to know the next word, the next sentence, phrase, everything is recommended by the machines. They're going to be our virtual assistant very soon. So how this virtual assistant work, how it can recommend a new word? Idea is simple. Assume me as an individual AI researcher, assume I take just 5 sentences and feed it as an input to the AI machine. Assume I go for some machine learning algorithm like a deep learning and train the model. When the model learns about it, it should be able to predict what word comes after next. That is what I'm going to train the machine. If I type I as a user, machine should know after I, the possible words can be drink. The next possible word can be drink. So machine which is trained based on certain probability and statistics will find out and recommend me drink. Assume I accept and continue. Next, it should recommend me the possible words. Hope you also guess what I am guessing. Possible words may be coffee, juice, milk, apple juice, or cold. I don't think it may suggest me apple and cold. If you think why, or if you have any questions why it won't, again, it's the probability. And what is the possible next word? Is the weightage calculated by the probability? I'll not go deeper into that mathematics. Maybe coffee, juice, cold may be suggested. So it will generate these 3 words, and I may go with coffee, for example. And if I type, my sentence is complete. So this kind of recommendation of the words is also generative model, AI powered, calculated based on probability of the distribution. Just you can think, if I give I eat, definitely machine will do wrong generation. It knows only these 5 sentences. After drink, it knows coffee. But if I give eat, you can predict, it may suggest me drink or it may suggest me coffee. Now, please think here, this is the challenge today business world is facing. If something I mistake, give this word, it will also do the mistake. I eat coffee. Coffee will be recommended for me. Contextually, it is wrong. So these are all the things still under debate, research, or developments. Now, the most popular generative AI model, I think you might have heard about GPT-3, given by OpenAI company, called generative pre-trained. 3 stands for version 3. 4 is already released. Now it is, I think it is free, but for Infosys it is blocked. Otherwise, I could have shown the demonstration. For data privacy issues, even for us, it is blocked. So it is a very large language model. It does like a human conversation. And it is so powerful. It is very powerful. That's why this tech buzzword everywhere. The reason is a special type of architecture called as transformer architecture, where deep learning is the base. So how this deep learning has used? Why OpenAI GPT-3 is so powerful? It is so powerful because they have collected huge amount of data. Please recall my first sentence. More the data, more the insights, good business. Because better insights, better decision. Data is ever increasing exponentially. And using that huge amount of data, companies like OpenAI, Google, they took the data, they adopted a heavy architecture. They have adopted a heavy architecture and designed a model coming from huge amount of data. They designed a model called GPT-3, which is so powerful. The strength comes from 2 simple points, but they're very huge. They're very huge. Advanced architecture, please see the performance. These were all the older versions. GPT-4 is expected to be much higher. GPT-5 will be much more higher. And it is capable of generating programs you want in Java, Python, C, you want some text, or you want new images, it can. So having said about how generative AI works, now you can guess what are the business opportunities. Already said, I think many people are already commenting in the websites, social media, that it will snatch many jobs. Somebody says 30 jobs are under risk. It all depends on how companies would take it. Basically, we are looking it in a optimistic, positive way, I would say. It should be our virtual assistant. Whether it is in IT industry or anywhere, certain things which human cannot do, is these things can be quite creative and help us to begin the work, like writing the blogs. I may have to search for the vocabulary to write business communication. It will help me to do that. Then product description for manufacturing companies. They have to explain every product, its usage, etc. GPT-3 kind of models can help to write about products, advertising campaigns, report generation of the projects, or research scholar. I think already Manu mentioned how he has used it in his research. You can create, or you can ask for grammatical free sentences. So lots of business opportunities are there, but nevertheless, it also has a lot of challenges or limitation. If you have anything, please discuss in this forum once when I stop. The limitations, according to me, are three very major. The ethical implications. This comes from the point that since terabytes of data are taken from Wikipedia, where the owner of the data is somebody, without acknowledging it, taking their consent, the data might be used to train the artificial intelligence machine, and it's becoming creative. It's as simple as in the research field. If I refer 10 research paper, I quote each one of the research contributor. But what if I read all 10 articles and write my own article and say that it is mine? I don't think anybody would accept. That is the kind of ethical implications generative AI is facing now. And the whole society or AI developer community are working towards solving it. The second point comes from ensuring that generated content is highly relevant. In fact, my own experience, I think, just give me a minute. Just see, this is for my own purpose. Hope you can see my screen. I was creating generative AI 101 course for our internal purpose, and I have to depend on ChatGPT for text, and DALL-E is one model. I don't know how many of you have heard. DALL-E is a open AI product for generating the new images. At Infosys Mysore campus, we have one building called as GEC building. I wanted to test this DALL-E, and I said Infosys GEC, Global Education Center building. This is a building it generated. These are all the artificial intelligence system generated images. But this is a good corporate office, but not at all looking like it's not at all resembling our Infosys GEC. Means that.
So, sorry to interrupt you. We are not able to see anything. We are just able to see the PPT, no images.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh. Now, are you able to hear? Hello?
No, we are still seeing only the PPT.
Sorry?
The only thing we can see is your PowerPoint.
Oh, not this Word document, is it?
No, no.
No, madam.
Oh, just give me a second. I'll reshare it. Now, can you see this one?
Yeah, we can see the document. We
Word
can see the
document.
document.
Oh, okay.
Yes, madam.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So I was talking about this one, as I was telling, we are creating one new course on generative AI 101 for internal purpose. And we were advised try to use, because nothing secret here. Even at Infosys, we are also trying to get the benefit of this new technology called as generative AI, because that's how we have to present ourselves to the clients. Now, the new technology everywhere is this generative AI. At ETA, education and training, how this generative AI can be used. So first thing, anybody who is creating the course also look for using this. And I tried how it can be helpful. I tried with DAL-E, DALL-E. This is an open AI product I was talking about. And this is how the interface. But today we don't have an access to DAL-E or this one. OpenAI, any product, because of data privacy. From past 20 days, even our Infosys has blocked that website. I'll come to that point little later as a limitation. Now look at the second challenge I was discussing, data privacy and relevancy with the user. No doubt generative AI is very, very creative. All beautiful images it creates, but is it relevant to the user? Let's say one of the researcher in this forum is writing an article on creating a simulation for some robotic process. But instead of robotic process, it may generate something else. Or in our own project, let's say our delivery unit has a client project. They have to create a software requirement specification for some finance customer. What if it will write a requirement? ChatGPT will write a requirement for e-commerce or some other retail applications. Our client will not accept. So the major problem here is how relevant the data generated by our generative AI. That is the biggest challenge any company is facing now. No doubt, everybody are surprised. Everybody are surprised. That's a pleasant surprise by the generative AI domain. Everybody are liking it, mesmerized by the way it is creative. But how can we use it? Is it just go and use it? As I said, GEC building, Global Education Center. And this is the kind of images it generated for me. This is artificial intelligence. And I will claim here that, no, I cannot accept this. As an author, I don't accept this images. It's a corporate office, but not our Global Education Center. My second thing was Mysore Palace. Yeah, this is artificially created images by DAL-E. It's looking almost same, but I doubt about this white color. Look at the original. I don't say this is 100% exactly the same, but will I accept or not is up to me, because I am the end user. I may use it or not. Now, I gave one more sentence here. Please see, a palace with gold dome surrounded by flower garden and horse riders. This is the kind of image it generated for me. A palace with gold dome surrounded by garden and horse rider. You can see here 2 horse, again few horse. I think in your personal computer, if you have an access, please type OpenAI DAL-E playground. As I said, for us, it is prohibited. The other one I tried this kind, alien with scales on the body, 1 eye, 4 hands, 2 legs, etc. So this is the kind of images I got. Further, I continued with these kind. I think if anybody can do that, I think that will be a good hands-on experience. Alien with scales on the body, 1 eye, 4 hands, 2 ears, 2 legs. This is the kind of picture. Like that, DAL-E, there are lots of examples. Just let me share again. Please type this when in your personal computer. Open AI Playground. As I said, for us, it is blocked. Hope you can see Wikipedia. I have shared the screen. Can you see access denied? Maybe if you have an access, please try exploring it. So looking at the data privacy, it's a major third challenge where whatever the things you type, based on that it is generating, but privacy is the major concern. Example, in our production unit, the project related employees should be careful in giving input to the generative AI model, because there are high risk and chance that client code, client information will be passed on. Hence, we are also access denied. We don't have an access. So data privacy has become a major concern in generative model usage. However, these concerns are there. Still, people are showing very high interest in making use of this generative AI for varieties of purpose. Until you are not related to business with using this chat GPT work, then generative models can do a wonder for us. A new role has evolved to provide interaction with these kind of generative models, and that is called as prompt engineering. So I think you might have heard about a word called prompt. Those who work in a computer system, prompt is nothing but to say something like Linux command, DOS command, where you just give something, machine will return the output. But when you deal with generative AI, when you interact with generative AI, the engineering skill is required to pass the input to the generative AI. Because talking to a machine which is intelligent artificially, especially to create the data, is not simple. It's an artful act. I say it as an artful act because you could see in my Word document example, I typed Infosys GEC building. I should have mentioned Infosys Mysore GEC building. Even then it wouldn't have created, but exactly the same, but some changes would have been there. Similarly, if I say write an article about Shakespeare for a degree student, or for a literature student, or for a 10th student, 10th standard student. So these are all the way we tell the chat GPT or generative AI models on how to interact with those intelligent machines so that it gives me what I want. The skill of giving the right input for our intended output is called prompt engineering. It is a new type of skill data science is expecting. So this is how I look at it. Already in our data science domain, we had a role called data scientist, data architect, AI architect. You might have heard about data analyst, data engineer. These are all the early existing role. But today, many people are debating on this generative AI may snatch many people's job. It may replace many jobs. I don't debate on that. I don't stand by any of the point. The time only have to decide. And it depends on different geographical location, different economical condition of the country. But overall, from my point of view, no doubt it creates new set of role. I myself have seen a decade back when I started my research in machine learning, never heard about data science as a role. Gradually, when I came to the last year of my research, I heard about the role called as data scientist. Means AI was there from 7 years back, but data science evolved a decade back, and the role I heard almost a decade back. But today we are hearing about generative AI. Obviously, anytime when new technology come, any common man or a non-technical man or people from different background will keep thinking, oh, will it be a replacement? But progress in the technology cannot be stopped, but there will be a difference in the way the industry work or the way the common man work. As simple as you might have seen how the phones were 2-3 decades back, but today we have a handheld simple mobile device. People thought we will not use it. I myself was protesting of using not ATM card, but now without a digital transaction we can't survive. I mean, it has become that kind of dependency. So over a period of time, every people would like to adopt the technology, every company would like to adopt, and definitely it would lead to new roles like prompt engineer. Prompt here is not that literal meaning of promptness, but it's to call how customized input you can give it to the machine or a AI model. So there is already a very good job description for prompt engineer, and many companies are hiring for this new role with a very good salary, because he'll be highly responsible. Now this kind of role has become old. This is our new roles. So my thought is, with the evolution of new technology, new roles, opportunities get created. Maybe something related to data privacy, data security, advisors on this, architects for this. These are all new opportunities getting created in every domain wherever there is a transformation happening. So at Infosys also, at ETA, we are adopting this for e-learning purpose, either for course creation, recommendation of the new courses, animating it through prompt engineering with GPT-3. You people also can adopt this generative AI, but we should be aware of its risk involved, especially leakage of the data. Hence, we avoid. My statement is definitely we are very creative. Human is very creative, because if new poems are written based on Shakespeare, Shakespeare himself is a great poet. So this generative AI creates new poem based on such great poets. So whether to accept or not, it's left to the people. But we have to adopt to the technology to win in the race using this AI technology. So even our practitioners or production unit people are also exploring more generative AI like any other company. So the whole theme is, no doubt traditional AI has a very great evolution and new architectures being provided to each one of us, and a lot of products being already available to the people. We have enjoyed those benefits, and added technology in this domain is this generative AI. No doubt it's very amazing technology, because it's very creative, both in the terms of code, text, then even video. Looking at the limitations or the challenges, each one of us should be highly responsible in using this generative AI for our work premises. So yet to see lots of development. The world is going to witness some more advanced outcome in the coming years. So wish you all good luck. Thank you for joining this session. I'll keep this open for discussion if any questions. Thank you all.
Thank you, madam. Any queries from participant side?
Thank you for the talk, ma'am. I just had two personal experiences with respect to ChatGPT that I wanted to share. One, I already spoke about the with text creation for citation, right? Because ChatGPT works on joint probabilities, it does not realize that the output that it is giving may or may not be accurate. So in the research articles that we publish and the bibliography that we put out, as per the latest APA standards, we are also supposed to add something called as the document object identifier (DOI), which essentially is a URL for the document. And you click on the URL, it directly takes you to the page where the research article is published. Because ChatGPT is a generative AI and does not understand the accuracy aspect of things, I have realized that ChatGPT generates all sorts of incorrect DOI links when you want to generate citations through the GPT. That was my first experience. The second experience with ChatGPT was one of the examples that you took, which was code generation. Now, because ChatGPT data set contains the, the entirety of internet code, if I'm not wrong, so all the code examples that are available on the internet were used to train ChatGPT, and the internet contains a lot of incorrect programs as well.
Yes.
So more often than not, what I have observed is if you ask ChatGPT to generate a program to do something, it is more likely to create a buggy program rather than a error-free, clear-cut program. Again,
Totally
a
agree.
personal experience. So, as you said, we have to be very, very careful, and we have to use our better judgment to make sure that the output of ChatGPT is accurate from our side. So we have to do the verification on our end.
Exactly. Very valid points, Mayur. Thanks for sharing your experience. I totally in line with this because I never commented much about traditional AI because completely it was by the developer. But now generative AI, as you very well said, if I search something in Wikipedia, at least it will list out 10 links for me. And in the 10 links, it will be very authorized link from where. Example, I may get it from ResearchGate. I may get it from Google Scholar. So all the links used to be there, and it's up to me as a human being to pick which is the right one and to cite it. But generative AI is trained based on the backend data, and it may be incorrect because what it is generating, it may be referring to some wrong data as well. So that's a very valid point. Yeah, thank you. Good experience.
Yeah. Madam, I just had one question.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, madam, as just Mayur was just referring to ChatGPT being a probability-based tool where it randomly picks up the information and gathers it and gives it a form. Can we have a generative AI system which is also having the basics of the science behind the process or something like that?
More than random, I don't know in what context Mayur said. Data is picked from multiple articles. That's what he also says. Let's say GitHub repository, Wikipedia, and OpenAI GPT-3, they have used 3 upvoting. I did not mention it in detail. One of the slide I was telling, GPT-3, they have used 8 years of data they have collected, and the articles which had 3 upvoting, that is also fed to the input. But there I'm not again happy about it. For example, assume I know Prashant and Mayur. Anything Prashant writes, for example, and publish it as a blog. Since I know Prashant, even though you write a Python code, which may be wrong, but I know you, so I personally upvote. That is one. Then Mayur also thinks Prashant is known and he don't want to hurt you, he will also upvote. Let's say one more person will also upvote. Totally 3 upvotes. Such data also they have taken. But here I am not an expert. Mayur also is not an expert. But both of us have voted for you. That is also fed as input. But your data itself may be wrong. So now random selection, more than coming to the point. How this generative model works, the basic architecture, if you look at, especially for the text-based data, the example I intentionally quoted, I drink apple juice, means what is the probability that drink occurs after I? What is the probability that apple occurs after drink? This is calculated by joint probability. Conditional probability is if a person is alcoholic, then what is the probability that he is diabetic? That is called conditional probability, which was used in traditional AI machine. But this what generative models are using, they're using joint probability. They calculate the joint probability of what is the possibility a word occurs before the word A. Now, in this kind of probability calculation, I agree maybe the word randomness is suitable, because when terabytes of data is given, the joint probability value 0.03, that kind of probability. Example, Apple has a highest probability to occur after drink. Water is having 0.9 probability after drink. 0.9 is higher than 0.3, then water will appear as a new word. That's how the joint probability philosophy fit for generative model. Now coming to randomness, more than randomness, it's like terabytes of just corpus of data. Drink, many times the word might appear. The joint probability is a very scientific or a mathematical way of calculating, but it is calculated for how much type of data, whether everything is considered in terabytes of data, that we can call a kind of black box. More than random, we call it as a black box. Nothing is known to us. It's like a dark hidden room. In the dark hidden room, there may be a wrong data, there may be very less data being considered, but I strongly believe it is the probability distribution of the word. I use the word black box because among which data it's been calculated, not known to us. The user never knows about it. That way, human expertise is required either to accept the output of generative model or to correct it or to just totally reject it. Yeah, that's about this one. There is a strong
on the same lines, as you just were correcting about the two sentences, now if at all I also give an input of the rules of grammar, so would that make a better prediction, or would it make a better work?
Yeah, you're coming to design a generative model, not using pre-trained model, but you want to use your own
some
rule-based.
logistics or some rules of grammar I'm using here.
Yes, that's a perfect. I think some of the projects where without depending on the pre-trained model or generative adversarial network, we can just use simple rule-based system. Example, to cut the nails, nail cutter is sufficient than an axe. So these GPT-3 type are making use of an axe, but we want to solve a simple natural language problems. Then the grammar that you compose would be very sufficient to generate the data of your choice with a specific rule. But when it comes to very, very large language model, to make it more robust and generic, they have used this kind of black box model. But for a specific project where there is a specific intention problem statement, yes, the grammar can be used.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. And somebody has asked, will they track the data? I think the generative models are learning from even the prompt. Learning in the sense, if I type my client problem statement, let's say Infosys has some project given by the client, and I want to generate the software requirement. Let's say I will write from an online retailer, I want to develop projects, a specific requirement for so-and-so, I will type. If I type 10 lines as a prompt, which is an input to the generative model, yes, that 10 lines are tracked by the generative model. Without tracking it, it's not giving me the output. So it will remember for some time. And GPT, they may, I mean, any generative model would claim we are not listening to it, or we are not storing it. But I understand it is also learning from what we are typing. This is the reason every industries doing business are now becoming more alert on data privacy issue. Even for us from last week, completely access is prohibited in using generative AI. Without an approval, we cannot use it. Since everything was initially exploring type, we had a free access. Now only on a special permission with signing on risk agreement with our security group, we will not be given any access. This is our management decision also. I think every company is looking at such decisions now. Because there is a threat. Somebody has raised, are they tracking? Yes. There is no guarantee that my data is protected. I don't have right to leak out my client's data. So that risk is there. Yes.
I had one more query.
Yeah,
Do you
please.
think generative models could be used in predicting mutations in virus and other biological organisms
Sorry, Mayur, can you
by
repeat?
feeding in their protein? Do you think generative models could be used in predicting mutations in viruses? For example, we had COVID, several mutations in the COVID vaccine, COVID
Mm.
viral strain. Do you think predictive model, generative models could help in identifying the inherent patterns in the virus so as to predict future mutational strains against which possible vaccines could be made in advance?
I think it should be, because up to 20, this issue started specifically. I think similar to that one question we received from our client, being so successful AI models, why it could not predict Ukraine war? So that was a kind of question we received, but unfortunately, the prediction could not be done on such Ukraine war or whatever kind of recession. Maybe the amount of data used to train the models were never experienced before this type of accidental changes. Now coming to COVID cases, yes, 28 to 21, this COVID problems were there, and lots of information is there in the Wikipedia. Obviously, these giant companies who have done generative model development, they might have fed data about COVID cases like variant 1, variant 2, and 21 onwards, any variants is not fed to GPT-3 and GPT-4 model. Google has developed Lambda. I heard that they have considered up to date data. Assume, I mean, theoretically, I assume up to date data, if they have considered 20th to 23rd as on day, all the genetic, whatever the mutations in that virus, information should be available to the model and would do prediction. If it does prediction, it all depends on how much data was fed. Accordingly, it should be able to predict. But is it accurate? Not sure, Mayur. Have you tried anything
Thank you.
typing like that? Have you tried anything?
No, we are still in the field of trying to identify protein interactions when it comes to viruses. What kind of
Oh.
interaction sites can be identified? We are not using generative algorithms so far because it becomes difficult to measure the accuracy of the output as well.
So you're not talking about generative model. You are thinking of developing your own algorithm for that, right?
We want to use generative algorithms to try and predict new mutational strains of virus.
Okay, why don't you
so
try
that
this generative?
our vaccines can be future proof.
If
The
you are
challenge
not,
is that whatever output generative algorithms will give us, it becomes computationally possible for us to measure the viability of that particular strain. We don't even know whether it will actually survive in the real world or not. That is a biological problem which is not yet solved. So it's a protein folding problem.
maybe little rule-based or human interventions are much required, especially for the area that you are working. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
But this GPT-3 will not be useful to you, I think. It will have very incomplete data. It will give very crude.
Even the data set that we have is too small for GPT.
Correct. Maybe you can try with Lambda. I think they have said BARD and all. They have said it is good, but I have not tested. We don't have an access. I don't think even for critical problems that you are solving, more than such tools, your innovative ideas should be helpful, I think.
Madam, with reference to ChatGPT, there is an apprehension with reference to ChatGPT.
Okay.
There is an apprehension of ChatGPT creating some adverse effect on the academic circles. Like the students can use it for as a shortcut to complete their assignments or things like that. Or how do you comment on that?
See, these are all again how we accept. I myself, at our training sector, when they say try to explore what are the opportunities, I am not in line with accepting the output of GPT-3. If I say what is the application of discrete probability distribution in machine learning was my question to it. It started telling 2-3 lines. This is joint probability. This is discrete probability. This is hypothesis testing, critical section. It is nowhere relevant. Now coming to student, just if we want to become lazy and kill his creativeness, and he don't want to be loyal to himself, and still he want to pass the exam with that, let that student try, and the answer sometime may be correct, but if it goes wrong, not only he lose the exam, but also he lose his creativeness. So in my point of view, these technologies should be used thoughtfully. Wherever there is a scope for our creativeness, we should keep using it. Just because we come from data science background, or we being data science, we should not advertise that this is a universal solution provider, particularly for school children. That creativeness should continue to exist, and they should not simply depend on generative AI, but definitely they should know these technologies, and when they get into the business, using these kind of technologies is productive. But where there is a human intelligence required, where there is a human creativeness required, we should not compromise. We ourselves should do it, especially for students, even for the teachers. He can't just depend on the technology, because we really enjoy sharing our own creativeness. So that's a message for even students, or even we teaching community. When we get into business, no problem, we can use all this product for betterment. Education is one such area where human creativeness is required. Any student should not misuse it. He should learn and get better experience in learning through generative AI, but not to clear any exam.
And madam, that ChatGPT should also be having their own business model. Maybe no doubt they offer us the services, free of cost now. On a later.
Prashant, only one message for you.
Yes, yes.
Please search in the Wikipedia.
Yes,
Open AI, just Open AI. You will see in Wikipedia, there are 3 nice paragraphs. One paragraph, how Open AI was started as a non-profitable organization, then how it was transferred as a profitable. Third paragraph talks about even being profitable.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
But now they have updated, even being profitable is what shown to the world.
Yeah.
And definitely after investing something, there will
they
be a
want
business.
the returns on that. Yes. Thank you. Thank
you. Yeah, Prashant.
Thank you. Thank you, madam.
Thank you all. Thank you. Thank you so much.
On behalf of participants and Bytes team, I would like to thank Dr. Meenakshi HN madam for such an informative session on generative AI. Thank you, madam.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you all.
I would like to thank all the participants for joining Bytes Expert Series. Thank you, professors. Thank you, one and all.